Hello, everybody. This is Bill from the Sit Rep Podcast, and you're joining us for the next exciting episode of the Sit Rep Podcast. Today, we're going to be covering what we think are good recommendations for your Christmas shopping list or your Dear Santa, I Would Love This list. We'll also be talking about our Zulu project and some other wargaming projects and Jim's terrain and a few other news bits. So stay with us for this episode of the Sit Rep Podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Big Duke 6 Eagle Thrust. Put on War Hop, sing it loud. And the Romeo Foxtrot, shall we dance?
You are listening to the Sit Rep Podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.
Welcome to the show, guys and gals. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. That should cover everything for this time of the year. And welcome.
Happy Hanukkah for those.
Yeah, that too. I said Happy Holidays.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm trying to be all-inclusive here, Martin.
So am I. I'm just...
That voice you hear is Martin Shaver from the Great Midwest. Marty.
Good morning, all.
And then...
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Jim, I want to thank you for your dedication to joining the show today because the message I got made me want to throw my phone. If he wasn't going to be on the show today, he was going to go to the beach. Arg!
Oh, well, you know, it's that winter season. It's almost like I live in the southern hemisphere down here. I mean, it's whatever is gorgeous down here, it's miserable up there, and vice versa. Everyone up there, our friends in Europe and up north, the Midwest, New York, everywhere else. Like, oh God, it's winter. And down here, we're like, oh, thank God it's winter. And you guys get all like, oh, I can't wait. It's May. It's June. It's the great time. We're like, oh, time to just shelter in place, man. Because you're living under God's magnifying glass for the next 3 months. The summers down here are brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Immediately by hurricane season. So it's a rough time.
Well, you know what they say. Nothing comes free. If you're going to live in paradise, you got to pay for it somehow. So...
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining the show today. Guys out there, this is going to be our run-up to the Christmas season. We'll have one more show in Season 6. That'll be 2 weeks from today. And then we'll be on our Christmas break until right after the holidays. And then we'll be kicking up Season 7. Can you believe it, guys? Season 7. So, and then, we'll be full boring into January 22nd. What happens January 22nd?
We're a wargaming institution.
That's right. Wow. So, yeah, we'll be doing some Zuluing. So, yeah, and then, Jim, you got some projects. I tell you what, not to jump off the rails, but I'm gonna do a Warren moment for a moment. Your video from that terrain, I was watching it, as I was helping with Christmas decorating and stuff, and damn, that is such a cool way of doing some quick and easy terrain, and making it look really good. I hope a lot of people, if you haven't seen the video, make sure you check out Jim's video on modern terrain. And I think you're picking up part 2 tomorrow, yes?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later on in the show.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a quick way to put together terrain. Or if not quick, at least inexpensive.
Right.
To put together some terrain. The trick is, and again, we'll get into this more detail later, is to do a lot of it. Yeah. Because if you just build 1 or 2 buildings, it looks like a box sitting on your table. It's only when you put 3 or 4 of them together, and then you put, it's an emergent property almost.
Yeah.
The final result is more than some of its parts, I guess. But we can talk about that later in the show.
Perfect. So go ahead, Marty.
I was going to say, the key to that is, this is urban terrain. Make it an urban environment. Load up the tables.
Exactly.
And it was, and I thought it was a great video too because I enjoyed it. I was hobbying along.
Yeah.
We will. I will figure out better how to use Restream so I can pay attention to the Facebook comments. Apparently, we had a ton of Facebook comments that I didn't know about. We had Twitch up, we had YouTube up, and we're responding to all those. Then I logged into Facebook afterwards, and it was like YouTube's being ignored. So I apologize for that, everybody.
Hey, no problem.
We're going to do better next time.
Jim, after the show, I'll walk you through Restream, because you don't need to be logged into all those, because you can do it all through Restream with the chat function, and it'll show you everything. So you don't need to be logged into all that other stuff, because you can do it directly from Restream. All right, cool. So, Hobby Catch-Up, Marty?
So I posted a couple of pics, one on our Facebook page and again on our Discord. I finished my Afghan civilians and my Afghan animals, livestock. So those are all done. I'm pretty happy with them. I got like I said, now I'm the mayor of my own little Afghan town. I got a bunch of civilians to add some flavor, as well as a herd of goats and some donkeys and dude dragging a goat cart around. So that was my big project that I got done, but I'm very pleased to finish that up. And then as I promised Chris from Modern Mini 3D, I didn't realize it, and the stuff that he sent me, there's some civilians in there as well. So those will be next up on the paint table.
Very cool. So, guys, if you're looking for any modern miniatures, if you reach out to modernmini3d.com, that is our buddy Chris Long and his son's company, and they have really good miniatures, and they are officially licensed suppliers of those miniatures that they're printing, and they have quite a variety now, and they look really good. So they are one of the official sponsors of the Sit Rep podcast. So please make sure you reach out to them. All right. So they looked really good, Marty.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to...
Civilians that's an important thing to have on the table, especially in modern combat. It's like we were talking about with the terrain video. Modern war equals urban war.
Yeah.
As
For the most part.
As the decades continue to march forward, yeah. And wherever you've got any kind of urban or even suburban setting, it's a sad truth. There's going to be civilians on the way. So you're going to need buildings and you're going to need civilians in any kind of modern setting, really.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm the guy, so we all know that I don't like super crunchy games where there's a lot of bookkeeping. So I don't necessarily use the civilian rules so much for my games, even though most of them have some sort of either basic AI or somebody actually has to game master them around. I don't necessarily do that, but it just adds a ton of flavor to the table just having them there.
Right.
I really like the aesthetic of it, and that may motivate me to use them more now that I've got good figures for it.
You always need a bullet stop somewhere.
Yeah, or somebody blowing in, or
right,
something,
or some kind of mechanic where those technically you thought they were civilians, but one of them in that group wasn't really a civilian.
Exactly. Unfortunately,
riding something or carrying something, and next thing you know,
boom.
Yeah.
Well, and like one of the civilian figures that I painted up, it's a dude on a cell phone. So yep, can be your
trigger man or your spotter. So yeah, very cool. Anything else there, Martin?
Nope, that's pretty much all I was doing for this stuff.
Awesome. All right, I'll go next. I haven't really been doing much. I've only printed 30 or so kneeling Brits firing their rifles. I painted up the complete set I had before, so I had 10 or 12 Brits. They're all painted up. I primed and started painting up the melee bags and crates. I'll finish those up this weekend. So everything that came in the expansion box for the Horns of Buffalo set from Warlord Games, hopefully I will have at least minimally assembled and primed, if not mostly painted by the end of this weekend. And then I sent files off to Marty to print some more Brits. And then we got to start working on printing up some Zulus. I really thinking of getting a bigger 3D printer to do those, because I need a bigger build plate, or otherwise we'll be here forever. Because my plan is to print 400 Zulus. So as far as the British guys, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to name every base. So every base will be the actual name of one of the guys that participated, because I have the actual roster that for Rorke's Drift. So we may, it won't be anything fancy. I'll basically do a little black trapezoid or something in the back part of it, and then still do, tufts and sand and stuff, and then I'll just put in like white paint or something, the dude's name, and that way we add a little bit more realism, to the game. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
So Marty and Jim, I know Jim, you'll have to do it virtually, but I'm inviting you as well. I think we are due next Saturday night for a live show. What do you think? You got any plans?
There you go.
Yeah, I think.
And we,
what's it? God, geez, I can't even remember. What's the date?
It'd be like the 11th.
It's going to be the 11th.
Okay, I was having a brain cramp there, so yeah, it'll have to be later for me. I'm working during the. No, I'm not. I'm working the following day. So yeah.
All right. So, well, we'll kick it off around our 7:00 time-ish. So, it'll be a Saturday Night Live, and I apologize for our British friends and other European friends, but if you'd like to stay up late and have a good whiskey or scotch or wine or whatever libation you prefer and listen to some people and see if Marty falls off a stool again and, those kind of things.
I've got a roll of bubble wrap in the garage. I'm all good.
Then join us
Come prepared.
next Saturday night, 7:00 Central Standard Time for Hobby Night Live. As we work on what will we be working on? Oh, I think some Zulu stuff for Rorke's Drift.
Right.
We'll start putting together the buildings.
Guys, yeah, you better be working on Zulus. Holy mackerel, that's a lot of guys.
So, hey, airbrush is our friend. Let me just put I was able to airbrush the guys I've completed. I did their tunics and their pants like nothing. I mean, the airbrush gets through that, and then it's just a matter of the detail stuff. So, with a few people helping, we can get it knocked out pretty good. So, like I said, they're not going to win any competition, but they'll look good on the table. And then once we'll start building the buildings, then we'll have to start looking at I didn't want to start building the table until I had the buildings built. So I knew the setup, how big it is, and then we'll build from there. Because I have a map of the battleground, and I want to, while it won't represent it 100%, it will give a good representation. So, but I wanted to make sure I had the buildings built and laid out so we know exactly how much space we're going to need. So,
right.
And then I watched Zulu the other day, just, for inspiration and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Properly motivated now.
That's right. We'll get her done. We'll be ready. Remember, guys, January 22nd, 2022 at 2 p.m., we will be kicking off. I'm trying to remember exactly when it started. I think it was 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 4 p.m. their time that it actually started. But we're going to go with 2 because it's easy to remember. 1, 2, 22, 2. So,
sure.
I could have gone with 2, 22 at 2, but then it was the wrong month. So,
but then, then you're off a month.
So we're going to do it on the anniversary. And guys, since we are centrally located in the grand old U.S. of A., if anybody is within commuting or traveling distance and would like to participate in the game live, you are welcome to reach out to us at sitrep.podcast@gmail.com and let us know you would like to game with us that weekend, and we will play Rorke's Drift, and then after the words, we'll maybe crank out some other game. We'll see how it goes. I haven't even decided what rule set we're using yet.
Yeah.
So that's something I have to start seriously thinking about. I don't know if I'm going to use the Jerry's rule set that we used when we did Rorke's Drift in Ireland a few years back, or we'll go with another one. I'm going to have to sit down and look at that. We'll probably decide that on the live show next week if you guys, give us some input while we're there. So look forward to the live show next week. That'll be great. So,
yeah, add that to the lineup.
Yeah. All right. And then, Marty, did you drink all that beverages I brought to Thanksgiving already?
Oh, no. I'll bring that over.
Well, you could bring that, or should we get a good bottle of some good whiskey or scotch or something. I'm not a big scotch fan. I've never been a big scotch fan. But I might have to get some Bushmills myself. I do enjoy Bushmills. I know Don is a Jameson person. Liquors. What's that?
So I'm a fan of all the brown liquors.
You're just a fan of liquor. You're an Irishman through and through, sir.
Well, so as Ron Johnson from Parks and Rec used to say, clear liquors are for rich women on diet. So I don't like the vodka stuff.
No, I hate vodka. I used to not hate vodka, but now I do. But yeah, I do enjoy a good sipping whiskey. So,
but yeah, I'm down with that.
All right, fantastic.
You're just trying to make sure I fall off the chair. I see.
Hey, we need those number ratings. We need more subscribers.
Trying to get that good pump.
Guys, remember out there, please help us out and tell your friends, tell your gaming compadres, anybody. We need some subscribers. We're doing good. We've gained, but I really want to hit that 1,000 mark sooner than later. As of this morning, we're at 656, 657, and I'd love to see us hit 1,000 within the next 6 months, if not earlier, because then we start being eligible for financial support through our videos, and that could help us not only cover the initial costs, but might able to give us more project time. So if you guys can help us, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, Jim, what's on the table? Are you there?
Jim? James, are you with us, sir?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Jim is trying out a new mic today. I don't know if we got a clip or what happened. We'll come back to Jim. I don't know what happened.
We know what his hobby stuff was because you did it on the stream.
Right. He's showing us how to make some really creative modern terrain using boxes and printed images from Google and Photoshop and all that stuff. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check out the video on our YouTube channel.
It's cheap, it's fast, and it's easy.
Right.
So, there's really no downside to this.
No, and you can get as detailed as you want on it,
and like some of the techniques that Jim used on that is the same as what we used when we did our 13 days to 13 hours. Like when I built the ambassador's residence, for instance,
right?
I put a floor in there.
Yep.
I used the exact same technique that he used. Literally, I just printed some stuff out, and in that case, it was a marble tile pattern.
Yep.
And then fitted on there, as well as I did some roof tiles for each of the buildings as well.
Yep.
Same deal. I found what I thought was an appropriate tile pattern for a high-end roof.
Are you guys able to hear me again?
Over there.
Yep, we can hear you.
There he is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to get rid of the last of that echo, and
you got rid of everything.
A mission accomplished. I did get rid of the echo.
It wasn't echoing.
It's all good.
What's on the table? First of all, do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What's on the table? Oh, a lot. Actually, it's going to be a busy month. So tomorrow we're going to work some more on those urban buildings like we started on Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and finish those up. That stream went a little better than initially anticipated. So I got the basics of one building completed. Stress only the basics. What we're going to do tomorrow is I went ahead after the stream, and I basic built, I should say, the next two buildings. Now I've got three buildings basically built. And so for tomorrow's stream, we're going to do the gutters, the drain pipes, the electrical conduits, maybe some stairs and or fires. Who knows? We'll figure something out. But we're going to go ahead and finish up those buildings to make them look nice. Add some rust effects and things like that.
Nice.
So that'll take care of Sunday. I've already went out and bought the materials and the boxes. The next thing that's going to happen is I have to do that all over again, but with 18th century buildings. I have to do some late 1700 stuff because I don't really have enough buildings for the Battle of Trenton. We're going to be doing the Battle of Trenton in 20 millimeter up at my dad's house hopefully on or near the day, 26 December 1776. So that's going to be a piece of plywood. That's going to be an 8x4 table in 20 millimeter. Probably about 120, 150 miniatures on the table.
Nice.
Yeah. I have to build some of the buildings for it. I've always sort of managed to limp by in my Revolutionary War tables with not that many buildings, or with buildings that are kind of in the wrong scale, or it's old European. It looks kind of American colonial, but not really. The problem is Trenton is an actual town, obviously.
Yeah,
a lot of it was an actual street battle, so I'm going to have some better buildings. So that's going to happen, and that's going to be a lot of work. But that's going to be the next big project to take me through December, and then in January it's time to transition over to Rorke Drift with the rest of the team.
Nice.
I got to figure out some way to participate in that project virtually.
Right.
It sounds like you might be able to do a good op center on Zulu Wars, maybe, possibly, maybe.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up there for a little bit.
I was thinking an op center on the Anglo-Zulu War might be a way to participate.
An op center? That's like way too much work. You have to do 4 parts. Each part takes at least 20 to 30 hours. That's like a month. I can get it done, but the last part wouldn't come out till the middle of February, probably.
Gotcha. Anyhow, you'll come up with something amazing. We know you. You always do.
Right.
All right. It's time. Do you have news, Marty?
I have a few news items, and I think that there's one in here in particular that you are really, really going to like.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Hit me.
All right. So, first up, we talked about Foreground having their new folding terrain a little bit last show, right?
Yep.
So, it turns out they've actually got 11 pieces that are folding terrain now. So,
wow.
And they're all available on their store, so you can see them. Go to Foreground Publishing. It's on their new releases page. But they also are releasing pieces for the Norman era, if that's your jam. So if you play, anything in the Norman era, you can get some hovels, you can get a bunch of houses, a tide barn, and a church. Now, the Norman era stuff is not the folding terrain, so that's your regular stuff. But very, very nice looking model. So I thought I would make mention of that, and the fact that I don't know that we articulated just how much of their folding terrain they had. I did not realize there were 11 pieces total, which all look good. So again, if you're somebody that has to travel with your stuff, or if storage is at a premium, take a look at that stuff. It's a pretty good solution, I think. Now, Bill.
Yes.
William.
Yes.
Empress Miniatures.
Yes.
Has a stagecoach full set.
What?
Coach, horses, but wait for it. I'm going to read this to you verbatim off their description.
Uh-huh.
Our 28 millimeter Wild West stagecoach, including passengers and crew, modeled on the 1939 John Ford Classic Western Stagecoach starring John Wayne.
Nice.
The model has a main resin body with white metal parts shown in the picture below, and the following characters are included. John Wayne is the Ringo Kid.
Nice.
John Carradine as Hatfield. Louise Platt as Lucy Mallory. Andy Devine as the driver, George Bancroft riding shotgun, and Thomas Mitchell in his award-winning Oscar role as Doc Boone. You gotta check it out. It is awesome.
It's Empress.
If you go to the Empress Miniatures page, just type in Stagecoach in their search bar because it's easier to find that way, and it'll bring it up. So there's two options there. You can get the Stagecoach with the passengers and the crew, everyone I just talked about, which is 45 pounds. So whatever the rate is for USD. And then if you wanted just the passengers, you're like, no, I already got a Stagecoach. Which one you don't, and two, if you do, it's probably not as good as this one. But you can get the passengers by themselves for 12 pounds. But lots of star power packed into that deal, right? That is pretty cool. And it's, like I said, if you go to the webpage and you check out the photos, you will be very impressed, I think.
Ordered.
That didn't take long at all.
Am I kidding? No, I mean,
no, it's awesome.
Really kick-ass looking set. You know, and we've been talking about doing some Western stuff, and then you and Joey played your game. Not that this would work for that necessarily. I don't know that there's a scenario for it, but it is just a really, really cool set.
Right.
All right. So a couple of other little blurbs, and these are updates to things that we've talked about. So the first thing is Kickstarter update from Firelock Games. I believe we called this last show.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced that their shipping will be delayed probably until after the Chinese New Year in March. They've got manufacturing delays due to the manufacturer having supply chain issues. Yeah. Apparently, that's what it looks like. But everything else, like molds, are being completed, and all of that jazz is on time or ahead of schedule, actually, they said. So that's good news.
Yeah.
But, we thought we were going to get these in January. It looks like it's probably going to be March. So Rasmus and the rest of you that play Blood and Plunder, if you order the Raise the Black Kickstarter, you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Hang in there, my hearties.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's any bang on the Firelock guys. I think that's just the reality of
that's everything right now.
Yeah, manufacturing and delivery of product these days.
Yeah.
And then my final piece, we're going to pivot back to Black Powder Red Earth.
Yeah,
we talked about it last week. Since then, the game has become available retail through the Black Powder Red Earth website. If you go to blackpowderredearth.com, there's a tab on the top, and it says 28 millimeter game. So just click on that, and it takes you to it. There's 3 different options. You can get the full set. It's full Monty. It's everything. Components, minis, rulebook is $200 US.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a tier down from that, which is just components and minis. There's no hard copy rule book, i.e. if you got the PDF version ahead of time, because that was released early and you're happy with that, you can get those for $175. Or if you just want the miniatures because they're cool, you can get the set of miniatures for $65. And those are 10 really nice, high-detailed 28 millimeter resin tanks. Oh, hold on. We're being attacked at my house. Actually, somebody rang the front doorbell and my dogs are going crazy.
Tell them to stop it.
But you can build their Crisis Troop Scorch Kill Team, as they call them. So it's an advisor, an automatic rifleman, 4 assaulters, 4 recon dudes, and they ship each model unassembled and unpainted on a sprue, so you can build them up, pose them up, paint them the way you want them. They look really nice and crispy. There's some really good photos that they have published of their stuff painted up. So, if you're looking for some good modern miniatures. Yeah, whether or not you like the Black Powder Red Earth lore or not, 'cause that's a whole set of graphic novels. Even if you don't like the graphic novels, take a look at the miniatures. Really, really nice looking stuff there. So that is my news today, sir.
Nice. All right. Thank you very much. I'll got to work on a new intro for you there, my friend, for the news. We'll get that going. All right. So coming up to
can
the
we just do an intro that says, haha, he's not gas. Sorry. suckers."
Oh, come on now. Don't be selling yourself short.
Oh, Gaz.
I
Gaz.
I'll throw that out there.
Miss you, brother. If you're listening to us, we miss you. All right.
Every now and then I still chat with him, but
yeah, I do too. But he's been so busy lately, and he should be actually heading to Turkey to spending the holidays with his mama.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's going to see Mom, right?
Yeah, he wasn't able to see her last year, so I know he's very excited to go see her. So we wish him the best.
Yeah.
All right.
We wish you well and happy holidays to you and your mom, Dad.
Yes, most definitely. Okay. We talked some news. Let's talk some holiday wishes. I know we have one more show before Christmas, but, some people have to order things, and there are shipping cutoff dates to make sure that stuff gets to them by the holidays. And let me tell you, I want to throw out a story there. I'm telling you right now, shipping and the government regulations to send stuff to England is driving me insane. Why do you say that? Well, because my friend Commodore Rob ordered the Kickstarter for Hero Quest, the new release. And it was not available directly in the UK for whatever reason. So he purchased it and had it sent to my house. I received it the day before Veterans Day. Obviously, the mail is closed on Veterans Day, so I went to send it out the next day. Printed up the paperwork, put it all together, sent it off. And about last week, I received the package back because customs forms weren't correct. I'm like, I printed them off the USPS website, so I don't know what was not correct about it. So tried to fix that. And now I'm haggling with the post office to get credit for the postage, because they want me to pay the postage again, which is like $120. And I'm like, not my fault. So hopefully I can get that package to him for Christmas. I know him and his son are looking forward to that. So I am not going to get into the whole Brexit thing, but obviously there seems to be confusion because I've sent packages in the past to England and Europe and had no issues. So I'm not sure what the issue is. So anyways, it's most confusing. So I can't imagine being a company, especially small one, sending stuff, across borders right now. So anywho, Christmas time. And what's on people's recommendations? Who would like to go first? Anybody? Or I can start. All right, well, since y'all spoke up so fast, I'll go ahead and go start. So, you just mentioned it, Marty, the Black Powder Red Earth. Seems like it's coming out in gangbusters, with the sets, the rules, and everything. So if you're looking for a sounds like fast action killy game, have you gotten the rule set yet, Marty? I need to order it.
I have it. I have a PDF copy of the
rules. Yeah. You can get it on Amazon, can't you? I believe you can get it on Amazon now.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But I mean, it. Even if you have the PDF copy, so these dudes are originally this is all based off of John Chang's graphic novel.
Right.
The artwork in this book is out of control. It is so nice. So because it's a graphic artist that did it all, it's straight out of his book. So it is really cool looking.
Yeah, yeah, but, yes, you can get the rule book on Amazon. It's $32, eligible for Prime. So, yeah, it's I had never heard of this. I mean, honestly, the first time I heard of Black Powder Red Earth was when he made an announcement that we were going to be hosting something at Adepticon a couple years back, and I wrote him and said, "Hey, dude, do you remember that?"
Yeah, it was. I can't.
It was
remember.
a game.
We were gonna
Yeah.
do a meet and greet with like a game offer or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was now.
And he's like, "Oh,
But,
yeah, that was somebody else." But okay,
like, and then we're like, "But since you mentioned it,
right." So we need to reach out to
hang
John
out.
again. I haven't talked to him in a while, and I know he wanted to come on the show. We need to start booking guests. I need to get
Yeah,
somebody
well, good. I've
who's
got a
our
bunch of 'em
guest
lined up
booker.
that,
Well, you should
are
start
interested.
You should start booking them. You should be our guest relations guy. You're the sociable talk to anybody
I
guy.
gotta do that? Okay, because I've got. Well, so part of the issue is 2 of them are in New Zealand.
Well,
So
then we have to, pick a
we'll have to
time.
record those.
Yeah, those have to be pre-recorded. Can't do those during the show, obviously. So, which is fine. We
but-
pick a time where it's either like nighttime for us, daytime for them, or like early morning for us, whatever. Let's just coordinate some times and let's get some stuff recorded. Because I know some people are very interested to hear from game creators and projects. So,
Yeah, and I have probably 4 or 5 of them off the top of my head that I think one would be good guests. They have stuff that we're interested in. They're all interesting and engaging people, and have expressed some interest on being on the show.
yeah.
So we'll start running those dudes down and putting something together. And like I said, the guys from Australia and New Zealand will have to pre-record those stuff. But like John Chang, he's here in the U.S.
Yep.
I mean, he's only a time zone away from us.
Yeah, we
And
need to get him, Robert from,
Table.
Table Salt Games.
Yep.
Because I'd like to get an
Yep.
update on where he is with his Modifius project.
Right.
And several other guys. I'd love to get them on, start talking about their projects. So let's start scheduling. I'd like to get Colin, our friend Colin, on from Dish Dash. See what's going on with that. And
Yeah, he's been staying busy in his art classes. I follow him on Facebook. So
Yep.
he posts his he does a lot of drawings.
yeah,
So he posts those. And he's been slaving away on that stuff for sure.
yeah. I'd like to get a final.
But, yeah.
I'd like to see an update on the Ultra Modern, the Ultra Combat Modern stuff, because I know that's still kind of sitting out there. I know people are anxiously waiting for their items from that. So, anyhow, all right.
Yeah.
So you got Black Powder, Red Earth, the rule set, and the minis. You can go to their website and grab it.
Which, by the way, thanks, because you stole my item. Because that was
Sorry. I asked if you wanted to go first, and all I heard was crickets. So
Yeah, well, that's because
We got like 2.5 seconds of crickets. Does anyone want to talk about what goes first? Okay, well, since somebody said anything, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Well, wow. Okay, let me draw a breath here. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Silence is a killer in entertainment world. So, all right, moving on to the next item.
So,
Warlord Games. So if you're a Napoleonics fan, they do have the Epic Battles Waterloo set. So if you want something that can take up your time for the next several months, grab that big old bundle, and you can sit there and paint all those British dudes and all those French dudes and put together the terrain, and you can have a battle on Waterloo. They just put out a video. I think John Stollard just did a Q&A on the Epic Battles Waterloo set and where it's going to go. So I'm assuming you're going to see the Prussians and the Austrians and the Dutch, everybody that was anybody in the Napoleonic Wars. They'll be representing those. I hope we'll see all different sculpts, instead of just guys marching, with their rifles at shoulder arms. Because, that's kind of been my only concern with the Civil War guys is that, it's all the same pose, essentially. I know they're starting to break it up, but on the battlefield, on a tabletop, you want it to look, like there's more going on. So it helps
you
break
want
up
it
the
to be a little
line.
more dynamically posed, so like the action's happening.
Exactly. So there's that. So those are the two off the top of my head. I mean, there's many other things, but those are two off the top of my head. Marty, what else you got besides Black Powder Red Earth?
Yeah, so that really is the number one thing on my list.
Yeah.
However, another game that I play is Delta 10, and they just finished up Kickstarter and have a whole new box set coming out as well. I enjoy the game. It's a lighthearted kind of entry-level gateway game into tabletop gaming, if you will.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's not super deep or crunchy, but it's got a lot of actions. It's got a nice order sequence to it. So yeah, they have greatly expanded the factions in there, new scenarios, and all that stuff. So that was another one that is on my list, and that box set's like $79, and you get models with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. So that was one that I was thinking about, because keep it all in the family there. Keep my little collection going.
You know what, Marty? We should do a video on that set, because I have not really looked into that set. We've talked about it in the past, but I'd like to. We should do a video, a playthrough on that, so you can show me how to play that game. So
sure.
Be interested in that.
We could have Greg Millsap talk about it.
Yep. Well, he's in Australia or Zealand, isn't he?
He's in Australia. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But we could record something with Greg. I'm sure that he'd like to talk about it. He's reached out to us before, and we've kind of shared messages back and forth. But I really enjoyed the game. The figures are the models are really nice. So got that going for you.
Yep.
And now they've expanded their line to go along with their new expansion here. So I think that would be a cool set. And like I said, it's not a super crunchy game. It's really more towards the entry level. The box set is nice though. It's high quality. It's good stuff. And they're fairly inexpensive as far as the stuff that we play with here. So, I think that's a good one. And even though they're in Australia, it is available through U.S. distributor, so you don't have to wait for something to get shipped from Australia. You can buy it and have it shipped out of Atlanta, I think.
Cool.
Somewhere on the east half of the United States. I can't remember where it was at. But I mean, when I bought my original set, I got it in like 6 days.
That's not
and
bad.
That was USPS.
Very cool.
That would be one that I think as well. I enjoy that one. So yeah, we can come play that sometime.
Excellent. Sounds
Are
good.
you one of those people that buys Christmas presents, but you're really buying them for yourself? Because we're talking about buying Christmas presents for people, and then we can come play that if you want.
Right?
So are you actually buying? Oh, okay, I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to get the mission parameters there.
So Jim, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Not only do I do that, if I get invited to a party, I will only bring food or booze that I personally like. So that way I know when I get there, there's something to eat and something to drink.
Now, I'm definitely guilty of that.
It's a technique. I'm just saying.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now, obviously, if you are shopping for, I don't know, a hobby, a train modeler, maybe this isn't the game for them. Maybe you should get them a gift card to Western Scenics or something. But
let's see. If I'm going to buy, so we're talking about buying Christmas presents for hobbyists, right? Like for people in our hobby.
Yep.
That's the mission. That's the parameters of the discussion. All right. Well, you got two basic kinds of hobbyists. You got the guys like Marty. You got the guys like Oriskany. You got the guys who are, they like the somewhat, faster games, and you got the guys who like the really big, dark, deep, depressing, crunchy, super badass games. All right, so if you're going to buy one for the latter, if you're going to buy one for the guy who's into modern military gaming and is, into slightly more crunchy stuff, the recent re-release of the classic, you guys may have seen this in the news, the recent re-release of the classic Twilight 2000. Have you guys seen any of that?
Actually, mine should be here shortly.
Have you guys ever played that back in the day?
I did a long, long, long time ago. That's why I bought the new reprint. So, they just sent me my PDF files, and I have the collector's tin with the books and everything coming to me shortly. So, yay!
Awesome.
Yeah, from what do they call themselves now? Free League Publishing?
Yes.
Well, it used to be GDW.
Back.
They probably sold it to somebody.
Yeah. But, Jim, that's a good one. We should...
So, for people who may not be familiar, Twilight 2000 was a role-playing game. It wasn't technically a war game.
Yeah.
A role-playing game from, GDW Game Designers Workshop, not GDW.
Correct.
We're talking about Frank Chadwick. We're talking about Assault. We're talking about Boots and Saddles. The original Team Yankee war game published in 1988, 1989. Probably right after Avalon Hill, Avalon Hill SSI, which is almost the same thing because Jim Dunnigan founded SSI, if I'm not too mistaken. And GDW, Game Designers Workshop, along with Faza, probably some of the best game designers that have ever existed. I don't know what their status is now.
Faza.
But it was way back when the year 2000 was the scary, dark, and murky future, and no one knew what the year 2000 was going to look like. It was actually part of their Traveler and Traveler 2300 universe. But long story short, 1995, World War III starts. It lasts 3 years. It starts between the Russians and the Chinese. And within 5 years, 2/3 of the world population is pretty much tanked. The world has lost 2 billion people, and there wasn't as many people around back then. Again, this game was published in the mid-'80s. And now pretty much, I think you start off in Poland. You start off at a town called Kalisz in Poland. You're part of 5th Infantry Division, and you were actually invading toward the Soviet Union. Pretty much Team Yankee started, and the Americans were advancing towards through East Germany into Poland, and then actually pushing towards the Soviet Union. Again, 1995, the Soviet Union is still around. They thought the future was going to be different.
Yeah.
And it's just too much. Too much nuclear weapons have gone off, too much collateral damage, conventional damage, too much money, too much disease, infrastructure's collapsed. Civilization itself has fallen apart. So it's part modern military gaming, part post-apocalypse. Take Team Yankee, cross it with Mad Max. And that's what Twilight 2000 kind of is. And anyway, it turns out that they re-released it. And I haven't read the rulebook yet, but from what I've read and from what people have been telling me online, is they have really cleaned up the rule system. They've really kind of, not cleaned up, but streamlined is probably the better word. The rule system was great. It was just a little too chunky. Even for me. I remember one time our party was kind of OP. We were cruising through some Polish town, and there was a machine gun opening fire from inside a building. So we had an M1A2 Abrams in the lead of our column, and I fired a white phosphorus shell into this building. And the game master's like, okay. And he picks up this big pile of books. I'm like, should I not have done that? He's like, I'll figure it out. I'll get started on it. I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Subway and get lunch because we had a breaking point anyway. And we'll come back and we'll pick up. We went to Subway. We got subs for 4 guys. We came back. He's still trying to figure it out. The damage and all that stuff. But again, that's the old 1980s version, and maybe the storyteller wasn't quite experienced enough. From what I've heard,
roll the D20 and move on.
From what I've heard, they've really streamlined it. That was the only problem with GDW games. Some of their games were a little crunchy.
Yeah.
Again, super crunchy. So I would consider that. We will have a little bit of Twilight 2000 related content coming out in weeks to come.
Nice. So are you using the old rule set then, Jim, or do you need the new rule set?
I don't have either right now.
Well, I have PDF files of the new stuff. I am happy to share with you if you'd like.
Well, I said Twilight 2000 related, but if
Oh,
I
okay.
have the PDF and can send it, I mean, I should probably buy it. I should probably buy it myself. I don't want to be one of those guys. Because I do have fond memories of the game. I do have some of the old books still on PDF from God knows when.
Wow.
And it's everywhere. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not like a comet has hit the earth and everyone died. It's not like a pandemic has hit and you're like one of 50 people left on the planet. It's not Stephen King's The Stand. About half the world is still there. But again, if you right now we've got 7 billion people on the planet. You kill 3 billion people, civilization collapses. There's no way Publix is still sending food trucks. There's no way you still have cell phone service. There's no way Facebook is still up. I mean, civilization itself unravels with horrific speed. Don't believe me? Look at what happened with Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the film directors said, we are always 9 meals away from chaos. It doesn't take much for this very, very thin veneer of civilization to get peeled away. And holy out, dude! Some of the big hurricanes hit down here in Florida. Air conditioning goes out for 4 days, and you have people throwing rocks at police cars on the street. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. But anyway, that's what I would get for your Crunchy Gamer. For your guy who, or for your family, friend, loved one who might not be that into it yet, or you're trying to get him into it. I may have said this before, but check out Memoir 44. It's one of those games that's very easy to underestimate because it looks kind of chintzy and, oh, look, you buy it at Target right next to Parcheesi and, Chinese checkers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the components are great. I won't say you get miniatures with it, but you do get little three-dimensional playing pieces. They're roughly 10 millimeter. They're fine for playing pieces. I don't know if I'd call them miniatures. Modular Terrain. There's been expansions for it. You can do quasi-historical-esque battles. It's actually pretty good. And it's like, Milton Bradley. I don't know if they've actually produced it, but it's like that kind of game. It's like, level is like ages 12 and up or something. So it's fine for more beginning gamers.
So Jim, you bring that up, and I think this is one of those secret success stories, if you will, because now we have an actual, beginner gateway game, but it is being published by a regular game manufacturer, a big company,
Yep.
and it is commercially available in regular department stores, and whatnot. So I mean,
Target carries it.
This is one. It's like a breakout game, if you will. That is, I think, could be a good way to really introduce a lot of people to tabletop gaming.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's been around for a while, and I will admit, when I first saw it on the shelf, I'm like, oh, come on, that's not a war game. My girlfriend's like, oh, look, these are war games. It's Target. I'm like, come on. You're one of those people that thinks Risk is a war game.
Whoa!
I used to be one of those guys.
I think Risk is a war game.
I still am.
Do you feel attacked yet?
I do. I need my safe space. I've been triggered. I need my safe space.
God, so sorry. Just stick to Stratego and Battleship. You'll be fine.
Man, I used to love those games.
No, but seriously, Memoir 44 is when I actually saw some Let's Plays, and then a guy at the club back when we had a club broke it out. I was like, oh damn, I gotta, like JR used to say on WWE, keep your words soft and sweet because you might have to eat them. Put a little Oklahoma barbecue sauce on them. Otherwise, yeah, it's a really great little game. And no matter whether or not your person that you're buying for is a new gamer or a veteran gamer, storage. Buy them some plastic bins. Storage. What's one thing that every gamer can use no matter what? Storage. Oh, you bought him the wrong kind of paints. He uses Citadel, not this kind of paint. He uses that kind of scale. He's not in that period. He's in this period. Storage. I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
no.
Seriously, just buy like some of those big, like Sterilite or Spring for the Fancy Rubbermaid ones. And because every gamer, every hobbyist needs more storage.
I agree.
True dat.
I agree. Memoir 44. You know what? I've never seriously considered that game. I mean, I see it all the time. I'm on Amazon right now. I'm like, damn, I could buy it. It'll be here tomorrow.
I mean, it's not Advanced Squad Leader. Don't get me
No,
wrong,
but you know what? It's something I could play with my grandson. He loves games.
Yeah, probably.
You know, so he knowing him, he would love to play
I
it.
want to remember, it's pretty inexpensive. It's very entry level. It's a war game, and it's got a hex grid. It's got like a big cardboard map in it, and then it's got like little hex tiles so you can change the terrain.
Yeah.
Like it's got like trees, and so you can like have your battlefield be different each time or whatever. It's not like you get one board and that's it.
Right. Cool.
Plus, you know, if you wanted to upgrade the playing pieces, it's not like we don't have 3D printers.
Exactly.
I mean, like a Sherman looks like a Sherman, and you know, a Mark IV looks like a Mark IV. You only have like 2 or 3 kinds of tanks, if memory serves. But yeah, it's like soft plastic. You know,
Yep.
again, great playing pieces. I just don't know if I call them miniatures.
Yeah, no, they're just, you know, like Green Army men.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. Very cool. Okay. Anybody else have anything on gift items? I know there's some people out there that would
Those
love
are my 3.
love to see a formal rule book for Set Rep Skirmish.
That game has a lot of work left in it.
I mean,
Okay,
I can't
guys,
tell you how many
Rogue-
people I have seen.
But,
And now
but
that you're on
there-
Facebook and
I was
stuff,
gonna say,
Jim.
There's been a lot of
Man,
calls.
and
lot
I
of
love
interest.
it, and I love the attention, and it makes me feel great. But we're on like the Battle Space, like the Battle Space Facebook page, and people are asking me, "Where's the sit rep rule?"
Right.
I'm like, guys, we're on Battle Space Facebook page. Come on, I be like polite, I guess. Not only that, but
Jim, you can talk about it on our Facebook page then.
Yeah,
It's okay.
all right. Number one, also I'm new to Facebook, so
Yes.
I don't know all the etiquette. But
That's right.
But
Since
number
the
one-
last show, Jim has joined the cult.
Yeah, that's true. At long last, horrible. The end times have come. We've already been talking about post-apocalyptic games. But what was I going to say? Yeah, Dark Star was like written down and play tested well over 300 times over the course of 6 years before I tried to sit down and actually write the rules. Valorant Victory Modern expansion, we were playing that for at least 3 years before I sat down and write the rules.
Yeah.
And even that's not my own game. It's just an expansion of another game. It always kind of irks me when I see like out in the marketplace or whatever, Kickstarter, here's a new game. Come and buy it. Come and play it. 3 months later, here's version 2 of the rules because we didn't know what the hell we were doing when we published the first rules, and it's got all kinds of holes and problems in it. Sit Rep Skirmish was written for one single solitary specific firefight. It was written for Benghazi, 12 September 2012, and we've gone from there. And we found ways to expand it and work on it. But if we're actually going to sit down and actually write a rule book, number one, it borrows really heavily from Force on Force. So I don't even want to is it going to be like borderline plagiarism if I actually try to publish this? I don't know. It's almost like Force on Force for dummies. It's a version of Force on Force in some ways. But every time we've tried it, every time we play it, we add a little bit to it, and we come across some new problems.
Yeah.
Vehicles are still a major problem. Like any kind of major modern vehicle or whatever. And the infantry are working great. Infantry are working fine, and every unit is down to like 3 basic numbers. So I don't know. In 2022, a lot of things in my real life are kind of up in the air right now. We can see about maybe codifying that into some kind of a rule book, but I don't know, maybe for Christmas 2022. Because guys, I'm not even kidding. There's a metric shit ton of work that has to go into a game system before you sit down and type word one of an actual rule set. It's usually years of role playing. Play testing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the good news is that people have enjoyed our playthroughs of it thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Most definitely
interested in being able to play it themselves.
Yeah.
Not to pile on work on you, Jim, because I certainly couldn't do it. I'm not the guy that does this. But I think that would be an awesome project if you were able to pull it off sometime.
Well, I mean, how are people going to play? I mean, miniatures, we tried that one miniature game, and it sort of worked. But
I thought it worked fine.
It's got some issues. It's got some problems.
Well, stuff to work through, but I thought it actually played pretty well. Whether you play it virtually or, with actual miniatures, I thought it worked well. So
virtually or like on a physical hex grid. I know people are going to want to play without hexes on a miniature table, which is great. It could technically do that.
Yep.
We just have to revisit how some of the area effect weapons work, because it's like everything within a hex gets hit by this explosion. Well, what the hell's a hex on a miniature table with no hexes? I mean, everything within 1 inch of a blast point. I mean, now we're talking about
give it a radius.
Yeah, now you're talking about manufacturing templates, and I guess you could. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about. I'm not like dodging the question.
No, I know you're not. Yeah, it's not as easy as we're making it out to be. Let's just put it that way.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
Dark Star, Valorant Victory Modern Edition, a couple others of varying degrees of success. A lot of times it doesn't work. Sometimes it does, but it's like a year. And 2021 was largely used up by that Valorant Victory Stalingrad expansion. Yeah, which I believe is coming out relatively soon.
Nice.
I've been given some dates from Yobo War Games about about when I think Slytherin is going to release that or when they're going to announce that. So I don't want to I think that's kind of internal at the moment, but it's coming up sooner rather than later for that Eastern Front expansion. And then the associated DLC that I designed that's going to come, or I designed the scenarios that are coming out with that. So that's up to Yellow War Games, Matrix, and Slytherin when that gets published. Eastern Front, Valor, and Victory is going to be the same as their other PC release, except expanded. It's going to have the full rules now, not just the basic rules that the Western Front Normandy game kind of has in it now. And there's going to be some DLC with some absolute soul-crushing scenarios that will drive you crazy for Stalingrad.
No.
Oh, I was just play testing. I was throwing dice against the wall, man. I was just like, oh my god, no one's going to want to play this. They're tough scenarios. Because the guy asked me, Lance asked me, he's like, can you please design some scenario pack for Stalingrad? I'm like, this is one of the most brutal battles in the history of human warfare. These can't be easy scenarios. These are going to have to be real heartbreakers. And, almost like no matter what side you play, just get ready. Be in a good emotional place before you try these scenarios. Because it will be, in all seriousness, we tried to make them balanced and it's very, very challenging.
Very cool.
Well, and you were talking about maybe needing some components and or templates for the for SITREP skirmish. I might know a guy that's got a fully operational laser cutter now, so we could at least make our own.
That's
true. Saying.
Yep. Yeah.
Another thing that slightly worries me about, again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, and I'm trying to sort of identify all the problems before we, just leap feet first into this huge project. SITREP skirmish is predicated on the idea that the hexes, or whatever you want to call them, the little zones of movement, are pretty big. Like in Benghazi, they were 100 feet across. So, whereas a 28 millimeter table is barely 100 feet across. If you actually measure it, 28 millimeter and multiply, your actual size times 56. So the idea that there is always terrain you can take cover behind. Might seem a little strange in 28 millimeter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're running from one building to the next or an open street, but you only move 2 hexes or whatever, or 2 movement points. Oh, I have cover. Dude, you're in the middle of a street. Well, that one hex, or those 2 hexes on a Civis skirmish table would have 20 cars, 2 buildings, a dumpster, and a couple burn barrels in it. Or it would just be like your usual like Somali street or something. There's going to be something. It makes sense on that scale. At 28 millimeter, when people like build a table and they don't have that table absolutely packed with urban terrain, it might not make the most sense. So we're gonna have to come up with like an alternate terrain and movement system, and yeah, there's going to be a lot to it. I've definitely seen the comments. It would be great to have it. It's just going to be a lot of work and a little bit of a rethink. We may have to kind of start on page 1 with that, especially if people want to play it. Because let's face it, most people who are interested are going to want to play it in miniature at 28 mil.
Yeah.
And that's not what the game was built for. That is not what the game was built for. It's going to have to go through a little bit of reconstructive surgery before I can put it in that, put it in that format.
Sure.
The charts are all done. If anyone wants the charts, reach out to me on Discord, and I can give you the charts. It's just not a complete game yet.
But it has promise. But it's there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. It's just not easy. And here, crank out a PDF and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. So especially when you put your name on something, right? You want it to be.
Especially, yeah. And I think that's kind of the problem. Is a lot of people think it is. And when I say people, I'm not talking about the people who are asking about it on Facebook. I'm talking about the people who design and release games, who just whip together a PDF over a weekend and send it out.
Yeah.
It is riddled with bugs. And did you even reread this before you hit publish and send? I mean, I'm not kidding, man. And then on top of that, it's like right after that, 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later, oh, here's the errata. Here's the frequently asked questions page. Here's edition 2. Here's edition 3. Come on, guys. Slow down and do it right the first time.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, true that.
So, I mean, it's an ongoing project, so we'll see where it goes from there. No promises, but we do hear you, and we'll work through it if we can. Also wanted to address that we had been contacted. Well, Marty, you have. You want to talk about God's Eye Games and what the conversation was?
I had some chats with Carl Titterton, who is the author of Contact Front.
Yep.
And he's got a whole bunch of stuff in the works. So I can't. Some of the conversation was private, close, yeah. So I can't go into great detail on all of his potential plans, but I can tell you that he is first of all, Contact Front is a published game. It's been out for a year and a half now, I guess. 2 years, maybe. Year and a half, I think sounds right. But no, Contact Front's probably 2 years old now. When I think about it. So that is an established game system, if you will. It's already out there. He has continued to create additional units for it, if you will, so you can play Danish and French and all these other armies along with it. They've created the charts and files for all of those units, as well as he continues to add to that. But he is also looking at some expansions to it. Particularly, there is a Special Forces expansion. Yep. So you can go from using your conventional guys to some Special Forces dudes, which is in the wheelhouse for a lot of us, as well as a different scenario. So you changing the setting of the game itself.
Yep.
So moving it around, not so much in time periods, a little bit in time periods, but geographical locations to involve different factions and some other stuff that he he's got kind of close hold right now, so I don't know how much he wants to share. So I'll kind of hold it off there. But he'd be another great guy to have on the show, and then he could say as much as he likes about it. And no,
Yeah.
but Contact Front is a game that we talked about right when it first came out. We talked about the rule set, and then you and Jim did a virtual game of it about a year ago? Question mark.
Yeah,
Roughly,
we've actually tried
yep.
it live on stream.
Yeah. We should probably do a tabletop version of that sometime, and then, like I said, have Carl come on and talk about it. If you're interested in seeing how the game plays, not only can you see the virtual playthrough that we've done, but if you go to the Contact Front Facebook page, he has a bunch of playthroughs on there. There's probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 at least off the top of my head that he has done over the course of the past year. So you can see how the game is played. Him and I forget his partner Martin, who is in Denmark, I believe. They kind of played some live games where he was over the phone and they're recording. So Carl had it set up at the house, and he's moving all the miniatures for everyone, kind of like Jim has to do when we play virtually. But it's a pretty exciting game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not super crunchy, but this one's a little more in depth. It's not skirmish sanguine, but I think it's a fun game. I've done some initial solo playthroughs, and I've enjoyed it and was able to figure it out. So I think that folks might enjoy something from Carl and Contact Front.
Nice. I think we might revisit that in the near future and play it again. I don't know. We'll see. We're always open for another game and revisiting it and see how it goes.
And particularly cool if you can have the game author give you some feedback on it and tell you what their take is and what they thought was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we will do is we'll play the game, and then we'll have the game author creator come on and talk about it afterwards. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? We've got so much in the irons in the fire right now. I want to get through Zulu, and
Right. I was gonna say. I mean, December and January kind of.
They're spoken for. So Rorke's Drift's got to take precedent
For sure.
So. Most definitely.
Right.
So, yeah, very cool. Guys, have any other thoughts or anything? I think we pretty much covered everything I had on my little list today. I put out the 3D editing video, showed you an easy and quick way to edit some STL files so you can print it, because when I received those files, they had the rifles as its own, file to print, and some of those can be pretty fragile, so trying to print those and take off the supports and then having to separate them to glue them onto the other guys, I'm like, that's a pain in the arse. Why not just make it one mini? That's the nice thing with resin, you can just print it and it comes out nice. So
if you have to glue the weapon into the guy's hands, that's how you wind up with floating gun syndrome. You don't want that.
So I did that, and so Marty now has the file that I created, and the kneeling guys that I'm painting up now, I did the same thing with. So, and they came out pretty good. It looks pretty good. So, So go there, and like I said, I'm thinking about investing in another 3D printer, a larger one like a Saturn, an Elegoo Saturn, which has a 9-inch or almost 9-inch build plate on it, so I can put. Yeah. Zulu guys, I could probably put almost 20 Zulus on one build plate. So,
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have more than that.
Right. So, pack that plate up and then print those out so we have those Zulus. And then, like I said, next Saturday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, we are going to do our Saturday Night Live show, and we'll be working on the Zulu project and all that good stuff. So come join us. Put it on your calendars. Grab your favorite libation, grab some hobbying, gaming, whatever, and go from there. And then Jim and I still have to do a battle group game in the future, sooner or later.
Yeah.
So
Awesome system.
yeah, and then and then we'll go from there. Like I said, anybody who's in the area would like to participate in the Rorke's Drift, the Defense of Rorke's Drift, on January 22nd of 2022, you're most welcome to reach out to us, and I'll contact you with details. Like I said, I've got a couple guest rooms in the old house, so if you're not one of those crazy stalker types, we can figure something out. Or there's hotels right down the road from my house, so either way, we've got you covered. So, we'll get that table set up and play that, and then do some other hobbying, gaming that weekend as well. And, so tomorrow, make sure you check out Jim's second part, if you will, of the Modern Terrain build on his quick and easy system, and it's genius. So,
So if you haven't watched the first video,
I got to watch it.
That one first, so you can get caught up.
Yep.
And then, I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with the rest of it.
Yes, you're making it sound like a Game of Thrones episode. Watch the previous episode so you know what's going on. It's not that complicated, guys. You go to Photoshop, you get some skins, you print them out, you paste them into a box. It's all fine. Actually, the part that we're doing tomorrow is going to be the fun part. That's where we're going to actually get more into the actual hobby and put on some drain pipes, windowsills, awnings. That's where we're going to make it actually look like a building and not just a box with some Photoshop skin slapped to it.
There you go.
So, hopefully that'll be fun.
Right.
Very cool. So, there's stuff to look forward to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I had one other thought on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's might be a little generic, but I think that it's also kind of low-hanging fruit, but we didn't mention it.
Go ahead.
Thing that you can get for your hobbyist is a gift card from your local game store.
Right. Or so wait a minute. I even have
your
go ahead.
Local game store.
Yep. And
as well as then, oftentimes that person knows what they want better than perhaps you do.
Right.
So they can go get it.
Right. Or even if you're doing your wanted list for yourself, right? Guys, we fail at marketing. We really do. Because we're sitting here talking about things to buy or, suggest. How about our merch?
That's the truth. I've already given it.
Make sure you check out our merch, right? Help support the channel. If you go to our website, www.thesitreppodcast.com, and click on the supply room tab, it'll take you to our store. I got to go in there and update some more products and see what else is available. We might go through a different supplier. I don't know. I'm looking at different options because I found another supplier that has a wider variety of things, so we can get our Jim, our Oriskany shot glasses for the Oriskany game. What is the Oriskany game? You might ask.
I've already given out coffee mugs and pub glasses. Those are great.
Yeah.
Members of my family already have those.
There you go.
Those are awesome. The shot glass would also be a nice addition.
Yeah.
So far, I can't speak for all the merchandise. I'm sure it's all great. But personally, I've already got a bunch of the coffee mugs and the pub glasses, and they're awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I can say that honestly and personally.
I'm actually using my SitRep mug right now for my morning go juice. And, the pub glasses are nice. I definitely going to have to order some more. And I'm going to be ordering 12 more mugs because we're going to start giving away a mug each month to a lucky subscriber. We'll have to come up with a contest on that. So we'll be looking at that down the road here in the new year. Did
we ever send Ben his prize?
It's sitting in my to-do pile.
Oh my God!
I know. I need an assistant.
Damn it, man! Care package. I mean, come on, man.
It's sitting right there. I'm looking right at it.
This thing's just on its way.
Doing nothing with it.
Shut up. All right.
I was going to say, actually, Jim, I think I have your hat sitting next to me.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting on, Jim. I have it's not me. It's Marty. He hasn't given me your hat, so I can send it. That's it. That's mine too.
Damn it! I shouldn't have said anything.
These are the guys that are pressuring me to write a sit-rep skirmish rule book. How about you get that in the post? I'll start working on that rule book when I get all that stuff.
Oh, you heard that, Marty.
Aha. It's an ultimatum.
Done.
Bring it over Saturday. How's that?
Perfect. All right. We'll get it to him for Christmas. How about that? All right. Yeah. And I still have some of the first edition t-shirts available. If you guys are interested in that, $9 will get you a t-shirt. So, we'll get that all squared away here. Things have started settling down with some of the crap that's been going on, so hopefully I can start concentrating on more of the stuff. But right now, our priority is the defense of Rorke's Drift, but we'll get this other stuff squared away. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Sit Rep Podcast. Remember, we have one more episode in 2 weeks, and that'll close out Season 6. That'll be our holiday show. Of course, we'll start it off by playing The Night Before Christmas, the Soldier's Edition. That one always gets me. And that's kind of our tradition here at the Sit Rep Podcast. And then we'll just chew the fat about the past year and what's coming in the new year and, all kinds of stuff. And I don't know, maybe we can put a guest into that show. It'd be nice to have a guest before Christmas, whether it's recorded or live. We'll have to take a look at that. And I'm going to hopefully try and reach out to some of our former cast members and have them at least record a Yuletide greeting. So we can put that out there too, because
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice to hear from Gaz and other people. So it'd be nice. All right, guys. We're going to wish you a happy Saturday. Get your paintbrushes going. Have a great time of gaming and hobbying, and we will catch you in the next episode. So for Jim and Marty, this is Bill from the Sit Rep Podcast. Take care.
You have been listening to the Sit Rep Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. Remember to join us every other weekend for a new episode of the podcast, and don't forget our other programming on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks for listening.